Again, appreciate everybody for being here. As I've said before, I feel it's very important for me to try to get in front of this, in front of you guys with our fans and our supporters, and kind of understand what the process will be moving forward. As we all know, the search is underway. And in regards to a search firm, I'm going to go ahead and hit that right now, as many of you will ask at some point or another. We will utilize the services of a search firm. Now, the details of that we are trying to work as we speak. It will not be a full use of a search firm as others have done in the past. It will probably more so behind the scenes work and trying to get us some background information of certain candidates that we're interested in. So working on those details right now, trying to finalize it. The firm that we will use will be DHR. They're handling some other searches as we speak as well. Feel very confident in that process with them. So as we talk about this process, one of the first things I want to discuss is one of the first things I did was I reached out to Rocky Long, Dennis Franchione, some former players like Brian Urlacher, some former players, supporters that have helped build this football program. I wanted to understand what we needed to do, what we had to do, what are some of the keys and important opportunities for us to think about as we go through this process. I really appreciate, I want to express to them my sincere appreciation for their candor and their willingness to help UNM. You know, when we talk about Lobos for life, they're Lobos for life. As we have in every other Lobo sports program, we've conducted a national search. We're searching for someone with high character, with energy, with a commitment to ensuring culture of integrity, excellence, and winning. Everything we do is about fit, and we want to make sure that we fit with the university and the athletic department's values and mission. We intend to hire a football coach who commands a program that will compete at the highest level of the Mountain West Conference each and every year, who can recruit top-notch student athletes from all over the country, and who can perform with distinction on and off the field. So in those terms, what we're looking for: leadership, high character, player development. I want somebody who's not just developing our student athletes on the field, but they're developing them off the field, helping them in life. Strong academic and NCAA compliance. Have an understanding this industry is changing rapidly. Having that background is important. A commitment to excellence. To me, that means I want somebody who's been associated with winning programs, understand what it entails to win and win at this level. And then a community investment. To me, that's one of the most important. It is that relationship-based, like this community asks, and it is that connection that we need to have with our community in every aspect that we do. These 5 areas will help us. Of course, we want a strong recruiter, and we have everything else that comes along with a great, successful football coach. But those 5 foundational tenets will help us as we move forward. During this process, we'll be very thorough. We'll keep the University of New Mexico's integrity and reputation on the forefront. We believe that all sports should compete for championships here. We've proven results to show that that has happened, and it can happen. I'm not worried or concerned about winning the press conference or what geographical region somebody's tied to. My focus is to find the best football coach for the University of New Mexico. One thing I've learned from all our coaches' searches, the ones that I've been a part of in my short time here, is that the University of New Mexico and the Mountain West Conference are extremely well respected in this industry, as well as in college athletics. We have worked tirelessly from our department's aspect to set higher standards while demanding accountability throughout. I truly believe a rising tide lifts all boats. With a successful football program, we will assist this university and our athletic programs in their quest for excellence. There will be plenty of rumors out there. Again, there's going to be plenty of rumors already out there. And those that are out there, if you do not hear from me, don't believe it. So at this point, again, I just want to remind everybody that this is going to be a thorough process. It's going to be expedient, but it's going to be thorough. We're going to take our time. There is no timetable on it, because I understand there's going to be some opportunities throughout as we go through this. So thank you. Be happy to answer any questions.
Who's in charge right now as far as football program goes?
So what we've done is I had an opportunity yesterday to meet with all the coaching staff, all the staff, academics, everybody associated with our football program or that has an opportunity that works with them, had explained to them kind of what the process is going to be. Then I met with our student athletes shortly afterwards. Right now, we are doing it by committee, but I have appointed somebody as the acting head coach internally, and that is more so that we can keep everything with the kids. And right now, it's Coach Perry Eliano.
Buyout for Davey. Can you comment about that?
I can't. As I said, all that information will be after the board meeting next week.
What are you hoping to get out of this in terms of using the search firm? What are you hoping to get out of that you guys couldn't necessarily do yourselves?
I think what everybody understands, there's a lot of searches going out there right now. There's a lot of rumors and everything else, and it's understanding who truly is, from our interest, has that same feeling in return. And so finding out some of those questions that right now we need to understand if they are truly invested into this opportunity or is it just a ploy to get something else. Those kind of details right now with everything else that's happening in the industry with so many changes, coaches still competing, not just in conference championships or postseason or bowl games. We want to make sure they're helping us do some due diligence without us having to really, they know who to contact and they can help us with those behind closed door, conversations they could have for us.
Hey, what direction did you give them? I mean, I understand the kind of statement off the top.
Who are we talking?
We're
Direction?
talking about the search.
Okay, yeah. Mhm.
What did you tell them that say, we need this kind of guy, and that's the direction I want you to go?
I think what you just heard in regards to our 5 foundational tenets, I want leadership, I want high character person, I want somebody who could help develop these young men, again, on and off the field and in life. I want somebody that has a strong academic background, understanding the importance of that, the commitment to excellence. I want somebody that has that excellence that has been associated with winning programs. And then a community understanding the expectations here, not just a willingness, but an expectation that we have to be able to embrace our community, have that connection with them. So as we go through this, there's other things, there's little things that we want to look at. And right now, I'm not, those aren't the foundation that I'm building off. Those are other pieces of the puzzle that I want to add once I start putting that list together.
Eddie, I know you guys are getting a search firm, but are you also are they also going to take recommendations from you as far as, I know that you have the overall say, but I know you have strong roots with LSU and in that part of the country.
Sure.
Are you going to make any recommendations? Have you done that, or?
Well, let's let it be known, the decision to look at coaches is going to be my decision. They're not coming with a list and saying these guys are the ones you need to look at. What they're doing is they're taking my recommendations, my suggestions, and looking into those individuals for us. I am going to rely on my background, my connections, and my networking. I'm fortunate to have been associated with some wonderful football coaches, but some wonderful administrators as well. So it's allowed me the flexibility to be able to reach out to them, get insight, understand who are some viable candidates. There's a lot of people out there that are great on paper, but can they understand what is expected here? And so that's right now what's truly happening.
Arch. Was there a common theme when you talked to Coach Long, Francione, Brian Urlacher, that they expressed to you about what they wanted to see in the next coach?
Again, I just got to say thank you to them because you talk about the willingness to want to truly help. They get it. They want to see the success of this program continue and be where it's been at one point. I think they both talk. I asked them a litany of different questions, everything from recruiting to fan engagement to offense to defense. And, I think the biggest common theme goes back to what we're talking about here. We need somebody that understands what the expectations are here, where we want to go, the investment within the community, recruiting, how essential it is within certain geographical regions close to here. So all those are great to hear. The good part is they also told me some things that didn't work and some things that we need to really focus on, and that's important. That's, again, I felt it was imperative to reach out to those because they have been a part of the program here that helped build this. This program has had success. It has student athletes and former players that have played that are in the Hall of Fame. From the You got to listen to those guys because they know what it takes to win and win at the highest level.
Right.
What's expected of the assistant coaches now, their time frame, of how long they're gonna be around and keeping the recruits and checking
Absolutely.
out the recruits coming in and stuff? What's the responsibility?
Great question. So right now, the number one focus for them is our student athletes first and foremost. I want to make sure that they're helping them. We're getting close to finals right now. We're a week away from finals. So our focus right now is making sure they're doing everything academically they have to do. They're still going to have some opportunities to work out if they choose to. But right now, it's all about academics. It's making sure they understand. My conversation with the student athletes was listen, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be said and heard over the next 24 to 48 hours and not go into the next week or two. My number one focus with them is, hey, guys, we've got to focus academically. We've got to do what needs to be done, take care of our business. And the coaches are doing that. They're helping us. In the recruiting side, what they're doing is following up with those young men that have expressed interest, that have been on an opportunity potentially to commit, to letting them know kind of what the process is, where we're going, and letting their families or mom and dads understand, hey, this is, again, what's transpiring, this is where we're going, and just keeping those touch points. There's going to be a lot of questions from that group. There's going to be a lot of questions from our kids and our student athletes, and we want to make sure that we're there for them, and that's what our coaches are doing. I really appreciate their willingness to do everything that we need to do. So, yes, sir.
What sort of framework will you have as far as being able to compensate the next coach? I know a lot of people
Yeah.
here, they kind of flip out when you say $1 million. I mean,
We got
probably coaches make a heck of a lot more than what Coach Davey was making. Yet what he paid for.
Now, we're aware of where we were and where we're going to be in the future in regards to salary and compensation of not just the head football coach but his staff. Those are conversations that I'm right now looking at. I'm not going to say that we're going to be in the same range or higher or lower. Right now, I want to see who the candidate is that ultimately is at the end of the day with me, and we're going to make a decision if we're moving forward together. And if that person is in my eyes somebody that we have to put a little bit more, that's going to be a conversation we need to have, because I am not going to put our athletic department in a situation where financially it's going to be daunting for the future of this program. As I look at this and every decision we make, it's about how we do everything today, accountability, and making sure we've been able to balance a budget 2 years in a row. Through thick and thin, help, assistance from others, it's been a wonderful opportunity, but an unbelievable accomplishment. I'm not going to put ourselves in year 3 with a task that we cannot achieve. So everything will be taken into consideration, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be between this range and this range. I want to be able to have those conversations with those candidates and be able to ultimately make that decision when it comes. Yes, sir.
Will it be a top 3? Will it be the top 5? Will it be?
I don't know, I think right now it's like top 50. I mean, there's so much interest right now in this opportunity, and again, it goes to echo what I mentioned earlier about the reputation of this institution, the reputation of this league, not just in football, but in all sports. There's an unbelievable amount of interest. But it goes now, we start winding that list down to a manageable number. And then ultimately, who I feel comfortable with sitting across from, and that's going to be a viable candidate. Ideally, probably anywhere between 3 to 5 at the end of the day. And then we will shrink that list. Maybe it might be less. It might be one more. But right now, I can tell you there's a lot of interest. Just because they're interested doesn't mean we're interested in them. And I go back to, again, there's going to be a lot of rumors out there. Please don't believe everything that you hear. Again, it's going to vary depending on how many.
When you talk about the community engagement, bridging that gap between the team and the fan base, what do you envision that looking like? What are some of the highlights for what you want to see there?
Absolutely. No, and I think we have some unbelievable coaches that have already expressed and shown that it can be done. It can be done. The biggest thing is getting out there in the community, doing what can be done, showing that there's that connection. Connection is important here because it's not just going out there and saying hello and getting in a car and leaving. And that's every one of our coaches. I'm not expressing this in particular to one sport or another. It is every one of our coaches, every one of my staff members, myself included. That's the expectation I have for everyone. When I'm out there saying hello to people, shaking hands, it shouldn't be. I'm not doing that just because. I'm doing it because I want to get to know this community. I want to be involved. I want to be ingrained in it. And I think every one of our coaches should do the same.
Coach,
Yes, sir.
I know you got a lot of interest from all over the country, stuff like that. This is just a question, I don't know if you can do this, but would it help someone if they had local, like, had been around the program or somebody from the past or anything like that? Would that even help them?
Everything helps. I'm not gonna sit here and say it doesn't, and I'm not gonna. So take that for what it's worth. I mean, the reality is, I've been associated with other football programs. Understanding to have that is important in some cases, but it's not the driving factor, and that's what I think needs to be understood. In some cases, I left LSU, and we had an opportunity there when they hired Ed Ogeron, and it's worked out extremely well in their benefit. That doesn't always translate as that. So my thing is, it's important to have those opportunities to understand that there is a connection, but is it the final straw? No. There's again, to me, I need somebody with high character. I want somebody that's going to hit all those other foundational tenets that we talked about. Yeah,
Have you been in contact with any of these people?
Nope.
Have you set any kind of interview up at all?
No. Well, I'm not going to get into setting up interviews and everything else, but I will tell you that I have not had any conversations with any of the candidates that I'm interested in. I've spoken to coaches out there that I know that are sitting head coaches and some that are sitting assistant coaches that have maybe at one point or another worked with somebody. I've had those conversations with them, but none of those are viable candidates to me.
And how important is the candidates if they've had head coaching experience? Is that something you're looking for, or
Yeah.
high-level assistant?
Again, you have to take it for what it's worth and see what their success and how much they've learned. Just to hire somebody just because they've been a head coach doesn't, again, translate into what you're looking for at the end of the day. If they've had success, goes back to being associated with winning programs, how they did it, what did they learn from it. So if they've had experience as a head coach, that's great, and that does have a lot of weight at the end of the day because you want somebody that understands how to run a program, how to do it right. But I also look at opportunities with individuals that are coordinators and others that they've been associated and they've had a lot of responsibility of handling programs, taking ownership within the program, the structure, the culture. So I think both of those are important. Head coaching is great, and it is something that I look at heavily, but I also have to understand that there's coordinators out there that have done this and done it really successfully.
Fred? I know you said at the last press conference that you didn't have a date, but is there really something that you've thought about what's the latest you can actually want to get a coach because we don't want to lose our recruits and that? Is there such thing or not?
I don't want to be here in mid-January, because I think we'd have some major issues. But again, at this point, I don't want to set a timetable and say in the next week or two or three, we're going to be aggressive. But I'm going to be thorough, and I'm not going to just make a decision just to make a decision so I can beat a deadline. I want to make sure that we do it right. So I don't want to sit here and say that this is being done for that reason. But no, yes, if we're in January, mid-January, we've got other problems. So sorry about that.
Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Getting a new coach, just exactly what this program needs as far as a reboot, getting people excited again, because things kind of fell off toward the end of the Davey era.
I think when you look at any change, you've got to find a way to make it a positive. That's the way we've had some changes within our department. We've changed the way we do our external to the way our local club is structured to, some tough decisions with sports. Every one of those changes are tough, and every one of them can be a challenge for the department. But the reality is you've got to make the best of it, and that's what I'm doing with this. That's what I'm hoping my staff is doing with this. Is we're going to make the best of this opportunity. I do feel like our fan base will give us an opportunity to re-engage back in. It's important to get them back involved. And I've said this many, many times. You've heard me say it before. It's not about who the coach is here. It's not about who the AD is here. It's about our student athletes first and foremost and always. And that has to be kept in mind. And that's what I ask our fan base to do, is support these kids. Come out there and support them. Football, basketball, baseball, track, tennis, golf. You get out there and do what you can because these kids deserve it. And so I will always push for that. And I hope this change is for the better. I will do everything in our power from a department side to make sure it is.
So from the outside looking in, you would think that this is kind of a tough year all the way around. were you surprised, or did the number of candidates seeking the job, were you guys like overwhelmed by it? Like, was it a surprising amount of people?
No, for me it isn't, because when I made the decision, I had the opportunity to be the AD here. I mean, I knew the opportunity for success here is here. I know what the reputation is out there about the University of New Mexico. I know what how they view it, and the interest that it's shown is exactly what I thought and what I know. And so for me, it's not surprising. It just solidifies the understanding of how great we can do it here. And do we have challenges? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and say that financially we're not in a position where we all like to be or everything else. Those are the challenges we have here. And I'll continue to work every day with my staff to make sure that we can find ways to increase revenue, funding for every team, student athlete, every opportunity we can. So, but I'm not going to shy away from it. It is what we have. Those are the challenges we have here. And we've had success in every sport, so it can be done.
Arch?
How much do you factor in the potential for longevity? I know a lot of people would say if you come and hire a hotshot coach,
Yeah.
assistant, this might be a stepping stone. How much do you factor in the fact that it might be a long-term solution as to fixing the program and then worrying about that later?
Great. I think that's a great question, and some of you maybe have heard this already from me. I'm not here to say I need a guy or a coach that's going to be here for 10 years. It's not what it's about here. What I want is somebody who's going to come in and everything that we've asked for them to do, if they can do it and they do it successfully, then from my standpoint, we're going the right direction with our program. Now, if we get somebody who's here 2, 3, 4 years and they decide to take that next opportunity, that's great. If they leave this program better than they got it and we can build off it, then we're still moving in the right direction. Now, again, we'd all like to have somebody here who's here for longer durations, but if they're here for a short time, as long as they've left it in a better place than that they've received it, then from my standpoint, we are moving in the right direction for the program's sake.
Are you looking for buzz? I mean, fifth football coach since I've been here.
Yeah.
Are you looking for buzz? Somebody like when Alford came in?
Again, for me, it's not about the press conference. I don't. The buzz is not what's necessary here. What's necessary is find the right person. I've been at other programs and other decisions with other coaches that we did get that buzz. We won the press conference, and the reality is, a couple years later or so, we're making a change because it wasn't what was ideal for that program. And so, I've learned from opportunities at other situations that's great, and if you get that, wonderful. But when we have to start, and at the end of the day, start with what we always felt is necessary here and take that approach. And at the end of the day, if everybody loves it, great. But they're going to love more is if they hit every one of those characteristics and every one of those foundational tenets that we talked about. I promise you, everybody is going to be appreciative of what we've done and the coach who's here.
Mr. O'Neill?
So,
Yes, sir.
as an extension of that, you're
Yes, sir.
talking about the importance of all your coaches connecting with the community,
Sure.
all of them.
Mhm.
So obviously, football's important.
Mhm.
Do you have to get creative in order to kind of find ways for that to happen, or do you just use your own instincts, or is it a combination of both?
Sure.
Because, like you said, there is that is one of the criteria
Yeah.
that anybody would be able to imagine, but how do you approach that?
So I think we have to learn from our past, first and foremost. We have to understand what's worked in the past and what hasn't. And how we approach the next step is why I've got a great staff around me and I got great coaches around me, and I'm going to look at them and ask them for guidance. We all have ideas, but we have to think outside the box here, because if we stay to the way it's been done, or we just think it can only be done a certain way, then we're not really getting better every day. And that's the way I look at things, that we have to find a way to continue to get better as a department. So we have to get creative. We're going to do things that probably have not been done here in the past, but we're also going to take some of that history that has worked and has been successful and incorporate into how we roll the coach out, how we roll this program out. At the same time, taking every other program with it, and taking this football program with every other program, with basketball, women's basketball, with baseball, including him, having that cohesiveness of a department, that everybody's working together for that mission, for this department to be successful.
Fred?
The student body, not talking about football, but
Yep.
every sport, basketball, football, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you go to a football game, you have 12 students show up at a game, and I mean, the attendance has been so bad. That's probably important to a new coach coming in here to get the student body and the school
Yeah.
behind it. Are you guys thinking about that, or is this too early to think?
No,
about
we think about that every day. And again, as you mentioned, this is not just football. This is basketball. This is every sport. And our it's a different age than what many of us probably grew up with the interest of going to events, to basketball, baseball, football. Well, we've got to be able to connect with our student body. We've got to be able to connect and find ways. We're working with them right now with ASUNM and others to try to be creative and come up with new ways. But it is a process that's already in place that we are trying to get better. Are we where we want to be? Nowhere close to it. No. So yeah, the new coach coming in, the new coaching staff coming in, all the student athletes on that team. This is a village approach, as you heard me say before. We're all in this together. We are going to figure this out together.
All right, we started with Steve, we'll end it with Steve.
And how important is this hire, and what's the most important hire you've been a part of?
Well, again, being a part of hires is there's been a lot of them. You know, I think today I've been a part of a coaching change in every sport that has been within my department. You know, importance is in the eye of the beholder, I guess you would say. People say football and basketball are the most important hires an AD can do, this and that. To me, every hire is important. I mean, I hired a tennis coach, I've hired a volleyball coach, I've hired a new swimming coach here at the University of New Mexico. Every one of those were important to me. Why? Because I'm dealing with student athletes. So to me, everyone is as important. I understand what the public perception is out there about this being the number one, and it will. I'll always take that search, will always be the number one at that time, and this is what it is. When I go back in history, again, I've been associated with more. We could talk about that offline. But to me, I take every one of those opportunities as an experience, as a learning experience. I grow from it, learn the good, the bad, and the ugly of what we did. Have worked with search firms, not all those different things I take into account how we approach this one.
All right, we're coming up on 30 minutes. We good?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, ladies.